is Were You There, an old African American spiritual. And I just wanted to use that as a way to illustrate about how to bring a melody out when you're doing a chord melody type solo. One of the things that I do is rather than picking by swinging from the elbow like I'm swinging a hammer, I will actually rotate from the elbow like I'm turning a doorknob or a screwdriver. And what that allows me to do is put a little bit of torque on the last string of whatever chord I play. So a good warm-up exercise is playing 2 strings at a time and work on just rotating the forearm a little bit when you play. Be careful that when you rotate, you don't hyperextend your wrist as you do it doing this sort of thing, but you just let your hand drop. So I'll play 2 strings at a time, and then I'll play strings 2 and 3, but what I'll do is I'll let my pick rest on the first string when I play the second, and that helps kind of bring out the melody note on the second. Then you can move up to string 3 and 4. When I play this, I'm resting on the second string, so I hear the third string ringing, and you just go across the strings, and you just rest in one string past wherever you're playing. You can go back and do 3 strings at a time. Again, I'm trying to get some of that rotation of the forearm. You do have to swing from the elbow a little bit, but I'm trying to focus on this motion with my hand. Doing 4 strings at a time. And then 5 strings. And you also want to focus on making sure you're hitting the right bass note. In the piece, there's one section where I'm hitting these chords. And there's a little bass line in there. And one of the things you can do to also work on trying to bring out the bass line in your chord melodies is maybe playing that bass line. That way you're feeling that melody with your pick and also hearing it with your ear. So I just displace that bass note a little bit. Then I'll go back and play the chords. And hopefully it comes across to you where that bass line melody also has a little bit of focus. So again, what I do is I rotate the forearm out a little bit to where I get a little bit more torque on that last string, and the melody comes out. So just trying to make the melody more present. Now, if you want to get a little bit more volume, you can tighten your grip on the pick. So, holding my pick loosely, hold it a little bit more tighter, a little bit firmer, and I'm able to get more volume. And that can also affect the color. So, with the grip on the pick and torquing that last string by rotating the forearm, you can get a lot of color. So, if I took something like this, I can try and color each verse of the hymn, and so I'm not going to add any extra counter melodies or extra licks to this, but I'm just going to play it through and kind of try and color whatever the verses were. So the very first verse of this is, "Were you there when they crucified my Lord?" And so it's a very kind of introspective question, very sad emotion, maybe very pensive. Very free and loose with the time. And here, the text is just, oh, it's just an emotional exclamation. And the writer is talking about how they feel at this point. It just causes me to tremble, tremble. second verse is "Were you there when they nailed him to the tree?" So I'm going to play the chords a little more forcefully, maybe pick up the tempo a little bit. And in my mind I'm thinking the violence of the hammer strokes as they nailed him to the tree. And so I'm kind of trying to color that with my technique. It causes me to tremble. I don't know if the hammer stroke imagery really came out there or not, but it's what I'm working with. The next verse, "Were you there when they laid him in the tomb, or laid him in the grave?" And you imagine Joseph and the disciples being very tender with the body, not wanting to hurt him any more than he has been. And there's great love and devotion mixed with sorrow here. Yep. I can remember my own arrangement. They're working in the dark, in the quiet, trying to hold back the tears. Probably exhausted. And then the last verse, "Were you there when he rose up from the grave?" And here I'm trying to really bring out the melody on top. This is just filled with rejoicing, and they're singing at the top of their lungs. They can't believe what happened. And now the trembling is out of joy, not sorrow. And so hopefully that gives a little bit of a flavor of how you can kind of color this just using your just a flat pick to try and get all this color out of the guitar.